Hello friends, welcome to this video. So in this video, I will actually show you how to compile your JavaScript and SAS project, which actually runs have HTML code as well. How to bundle everything into a single file using Gulp, Browserify, and we also will be using Babel in this video. So all these three technologies we will be using in bundle to actually bundle everything. This is actually the HTML code. This is high level JavaScript code which contains ES6 import statements, which we will be using third-party Node.js modules, and we will be using the SAS code, which is a CSS preprocessor. And you can see we have declared these variables, and we will try to actually compile everything into a single folder, dist folder. So we have actually used a gulp, which is used for automation, gulp. So we have this script right here which we will execute, and it will actually create a dist directory. You can see it has compiled everything into this dist folder. We have compiled the SAS into CSS. We have compile the JavaScript code into bundle.js, which is actually a minified code, and all the JavaScript code that we've written inside this import statement, it contains third-party Node.js module, which is Lodash. It is converted into a bundle.js, and we have used Browserify for this, for actually compiling everything into a single JavaScript file. And this is actually the index.html file. We can directly open it in the browser, and you can just see the code is executing it. If you check in the console, you will see Lodash package is perfectly working. It is splitting the array into two pieces, and then we have this console log hello world statement. So you can just see the code is working, and you can even see the script is listening for any sort of changes that you will make right here. So let's suppose if I change the color, the primary background color of the body, if I make this change, automatically, if I make the change, you need to select whichever color. So as you change it, automatically the application will refresh, because it will, after it detect changes, it will recompile the project using Browserify, Gulp, and Babel. So your project will automatically refresh. So this is actually the project. You can add JavaScript code. If you add alert statement, once again it will automatically refresh. So for building this, we are using Browserify for compiling the JavaScript code into a single bundle.js. So this is actually the library. Browserify lets you require modules in the browser by bundling all of your dependencies in a single file. So then we are using Babel for actually converting your JavaScript into all the browsers so that they can understand, older browsers as well. So we are also using Babel, and also we are using Gulp. Gulp is actually used for automation. So it's a Gulp.js is a toolkit for automating JavaScript workflows. So we are using these three technologies. So let's get started. So what I will do is that I will cd into, I will simply make a new directory. I will cd into this and open it inside VS Code. So currently the directory is empty. So we need to initialize the package.json file with the default options. So you can just see the package.json file has been created. Now we need to install some modules right here. All these modules will be dev dependency. So we need to add this flag, which is dash capital D. And here we need to first of all install Browserify, which will be responsible for compiling JavaScript. We will also be using Gulp. These are different plugins out there for concatenating all the files. Gulp concat. And if you want to compile the SAS, there is a plugin out there which is Gulp SAS. We also need to install the base SAS library as well. And also we need to install Vinyl source stream. So this package is also required, and we also need to install Babel as well. So @Babel preset env Babelify package as well, Babelify Babelify. Uh, Also, there is a package called as Gulp Browserify. So it helps in using Browserify in with Gulp. So this is actually the package Gulp Browserify. So these are all the packages which are required. Simply install them. So it will list inside the dev dependency section. So in the meantime, we can create a source directory. So here you will be creating all the files which are required. So here we will be creating a inside the source directory index.html. We will also be having folder for SAS and then the folder for JavaScript. So now the packages is installing, so just wait. So now it is completed. So all these packages are listed inside dev dependencies, and now in the index.html we will have a very basic HTML file. So I will say Browserify plus Gulp automation. So inside this we will have a simple heading, hello world, and we're giving a button ID button. So you can say click me. So we have basic HTML file right here, and in the SAS we will actually create a file style.sas. So what I will do, I will just declare some basic SAS right here. So declare these two variables, and so I will simply make the background color to be the primary color and the color to be text color. So I will simply make the heading in the center position. This is a SAS, and in the index.js we will try to use a third-party module of Node.js, which is Lodash, Lodash. So now to actually import this, we will use the import statement. So it actually contains a method Lodash. So here you can divide your array into two. This is actually the high-level JavaScript code. So we are taking a very simple example. We have the SAS code, JavaScript code, we have the index.html. So now we need to define the gulp file. So you can just see the icon will change, and here you need to actually define all the configuration options. So I will now show you step by step how to actually make this file. So inside this file, first of all, you need to import all the packages which we installed, which is gulp. So we need to import that. We also need to import the gulp package for compiling SAS and also the base library of SAS as well. And then we will be requiring the Browserify, which will be required for bundling all your JavaScript into a single file. And then we also need to install this Vinyl source string. Similarly, we also need to require the Vinyl buffer. I think we haven't installed this package, so just install it as a dev dependency, Vinyl buffer. So after this, we also need to say Babelify. Require this as well. So now we have installed all the packages. So now we need to actually define a task in Gulp by using the task method. This will be for the SAS. So if you want to compile the SAS into CSS, so Here you will be using the gulp.source. Here you need to provide the location, in which location the SAS code is located. So we are providing inside the source directory. We have the SAS folder. So here we'll be writing the regular expression. So all the files, all the subdirectories which are present, we need to only target the SAS files, and we will be using the pipe method to actually use the SAS compiler. And here you will say if any sort of error take place, then log error. If no error take place, then we just need to save this as the destination folder inside dist/css. So this is actually the task responsible for compiling SAS. So here we are providing the location where SAS is located, and then we are compiling it to CSS. Then we come to the HTML part. But first of all, let me show you, if you want to execute this task, what we need to say. We need to simply use the task method, and here you will be using default, and then passing this task gulp.parallel, and here you will be passing this task that you defined SAS. So what it will do, if you just write this command gulp, you will see on the left hand side it will create a dist folder. So error in plugin, gulp SAS has no longer has a default SAS compiler. Please set one yourself both. Okay, we do need to require this. That was the problem. So now you can see it has created, the compilation is complete. It has created a dist folder, and it has compiled everything which is there inside the style.sas into style.css. So all your SAS code has been compiled to CSS. So this is the thing. Now we come to the next section. If you also need to actually HTML code, if you also want to generate this, we will write another task, this time for the HTML. So now in the HTML, we'll simply provide the location where the HTML is located. So it is present inside the HTML folder, and then we will use the same directory structure. We only need to target the HTML files, and then where we need to save this, so we need to save it inside dist. Now we need to add this task, put a comma, and just add this task HTML. So now if you execute this gulp command, you will see it will also have no such file or directory. Gulp. Okay, we the HTML file is not present inside the HTML directory. It is already present in the source directory. So now it created a dist folder, and now also index.html is also present. You can just see. So now we come to the next section. If you want to use Browserify, you will use a define a task Browserify. So inside this, we need to bundle everything into a single JavaScript file. So return Browserify. So here we need to provide the location where the JavaScript is located. So it is present inside the JS folder. And here we'll pass the debug property to true. And here we need to use the transform method. And here you'll be using the Babelify to actually convert this code to all the browsers. So here we need to provide the Babel preset slash preset env, put a comma, and then we also need the source maps as well, so put it to true. And then Browserify contains this method of bundle, so it will bundle everything into a single file. And pipe, we need to source it. You can just give any name to your file. I am giving bundle.js, and then we will again use buffer to pipe it and then again pipe to actually save it to a dist/js. So now we need to add this task Browserify. We can just add this at the top. So now we have defined three tasks using Gulp. First one for compiling Sass, second one for HTML, third for JavaScript using Browserify. So we are executing these parallel tasks together using Gulp. So if you try to now execute this command Gulp, you will see on the left hand side cannot find module source.js index.js. Let me see what is. Let me copy this. Source.js index.js. Let me define a file right here. Okay, I think the problem is very simple. In the HTML, we do need to include this. We forgot to include this. Let me show you why this error is happening. In the index.html that you defined, you haven't included the JavaScript code. So just include this, and type you need to give it a module, and just source it is present in the JS folder index.js. And here also you need to also include the Sass code as well, or you can just say CSS style.css. So right here you can actually say here, just execute this command gulp, and you will see it will compile everything. It is creating a dist folder, and now we got this CSS code JavaScript bundle.js, and this is your index.html. So in the Gulp file, basically we have required everything. We defined these three tasks, and then we are actually watching for changes. So this task is really important, Gulp task. So if you want to watch for changes, you will define this task of watch. So inside this, we basically use Gulp for watching changes which are done in Sass file, HTML, and Browserify. This is JavaScript, HTML, Sass. So that's why if you make any sort of change, you can run this file index.html. You can run this while developing. If you make any sort of change, if you go to Sass file, now if I make this change, so now you can see automatically. So the application is auto reloading. So this is actually the workflow, guys. We actually understood how, which is Gulp, Browserify and Babel, how to use these three technologies together to actually compile HTML, SAS, and JavaScript code into one single file, bundle.js, and compile the SAS into CSS. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will be seeing you in the next one.